Here again in this spirit of still COVID-19 lockdowns and social distancing. Thought I'd share with you what I was working on today. Show you how to do it on bob. Hopefully you've got a bob. If not, hopefully eventually we'll all have training partners again. This is kind of an introduction prelude to the clinch fighting I spoke about on an earlier video. So basic here, we'll work on two positions. The first idea is I'm squared off with this guy, and we're fighting, and he's able to slip and move as well, right? So I'm going to miss some of my punches. So let's say I'm throwing a jab, and he slips to his right. My jab misses. And if he's doing it right, I go just over his shoulder, right? So if that happens, the instinct I want to build in myself is I've missed. I don't just automatically retract and reset. I've missed, so I grab. And those of you that have done Wing Chun will recognize this as the neck grabbing hand from the intro of the dummy form, or this is just a single collar tie, but I'm hooked behind his neck and I'm leveraged. I've got my elbow on his chest. Again, I've been punching, we've been doing something, he slipped my punch and I immediately grab. See this side, we're punching, he slips my punch and I immediately grab. Right? Once I've done that, I'm kind of staying stationary on bob, but you can imagine if I had a real opponent, he's already moving that direction. So as he slips and I grab him, we're automatically going to be turning that way. So I want to train myself, not only if the guy slips to immediately grab, but as I grab, I'm going to swing him this way. So what that does, again, the whole idea behind this clinch fighting stage as a replacement for Chisao is that I latch hold of the guy, then now it's between him and me a struggle for who's going to keep their balance. So I want to constantly keep moving this guy to try to keep him off balance. I want to maintain my base so I can punch while I'm destroying his pace so he can't. It's a pretty simple idea. So again, I punch, he slips and I hook back, and I turn him. Going the other way. So again, get used to that idea. Boom, boom. Hook and turn. Boom, boom. Pop, pop. Hook and turn. Bam, bam. So, now I know I can do that. Then I start adding the punches. So from here, I'm in tight, and I start working my body shots. And the important thing here is to make this effective, you got to use good mechanics because I'm in close. So notice I'm still doing the pivot that I talked about in the power generation video, or the engine. Still doing this, but I'm in close, so I have to drop my weight a little bit, and I'm pivoting and pushing my hip forward. So you can see I can hit from this close pretty hard without bringing my arm way back here. So that's how I work it. Go a few jabs, he slips, and I'm out. Okay? Again, I'll slow it down. I'm throwing jabs, he slips my jab, I hook him back, I slam him a few times, and I'm out. Okay? That's drill one. Now, what if instead of slipping to my inside, he slips to the outside? That's the other, right? He's going this direction. So as I punch, now he slips that way and I find myself on this side of his neck. Okay? He slips this way. So now my immediate response is to hook this way. But I can't really grab his neck. So I just turn my arm. And again, I want to pivot. I want to pivot. Turn him. Because he's already leaning that way. I want him to continue that way so he's off balance. And those of you that have done Wing Chun will recognize this is a Lan Sao. Either this version of a Lan Sao or this version of a Lan Sao. However you want to look at it. But it's 45 degrees, not horizontal. Because 45 degrees is what fits right into this groove on an opponent, right? Fits right there, perfect. 45-degree angle. So again, I'm punching, he slipped to the outside, I turn with my Lansau. And see, I'm not hooking back, I'm pressing into him with my forearm. I'm still using the leverage of my elbow against his chest. I can hook him pulling back. But see, I'm controlling him. I'm keeping him off balance with this arm. Right there. So see, I can hook, I can turn him, just keeping him off balance with this arm. Okay? And like before, once I've got him here and he's off balance, I'm going to start to slam the hell out of him. While I've got him off balance. Maybe I can get in 2-3 shots before he does something and gets away. But those should be damaging shots. Right? I'm working him. Boom, boom. When I step out, we're done. This position also comes in frequently. The guy has thrown a wide punch. I've stepped inside of it. I've done the high cover like we talked about before, or I just do what we'd call a spear. He throws a wide punch, and I'm blocking the punch, and he's stepping in like that all at the same time, and I still catch this position. If I was doing it on this side, he's throwing a left wide punch. I step in, I've got him. This arm is wide. All this is open. Okay. Now, let's say I've thrown my rear hand, he slips to the outside. Right? Now look what I've got. That same kind of motion, but I actually do hook and pull him down because he's already leaning that way. Right? Perfect setup. Boom, here. He's already leaning that way. I encourage him to keep leaning that way. Right? Very easy to do. Okay? And I can even set him up for that, you know? If I'm punching, I know he's moving around, so I actually throw this a little wide, expecting him to slip. And when he does, that's my setup, okay, for the knee. All right? Now, work on blending these two positions together. In other words, I can just be working Bob, right? I can switch hands. I can switch to this one. Switch to this one. Back to this. Push the shoulder. Catch him with this one. I can have him here and shift to here. Right? Hip here. Shift to this side. I just keep Bob off balance and moving the whole time. Okay? So play with that. From this position to this position. Back and forth. Okay? Another important drill for this position. Here, I'm already kind of covered from this arm because my head is down. I'm covered from this arm because I got this arm in the way. So this is a relatively safe position to be in. Here is not as safe because I can cover this arm, but this is wide open to his punch. Right? So, and one of the common things that'll happen if I've got the guy tied up like this, what's he gonna do? The typical wrestler thing, he's gonna pop my arm off. Right? That's what he should do. Somebody's got their arm against me, pinning me down, right? I want to pop their arm off and start hitting. Here, he's going to pop my arm off this way. So what I want to drill now is the recovery from that, since it's going to happen relatively frequently. I'm here, we've been doing something, he pops my arm off, I don't just let myself be thrown aside. I turn with it, and then see how I've set myself up? For what? I've set myself up for the shift. So I'm mixing it up, boom, and I'm out. I'm mixing it up, I'm here, boom, boom, just gonna pop my arm off, and I'm out. Mixing it up, pops my arm off, and I'm out. Okay? Very important to practice. Now, if you don't have Bob, you can still do some of this on the heavy bag. Right? Go along. I can't grab the heavy bag quite as well as I can grab Bob's neck, so I can still get the bag like this. Right? I can still do this one. Right? As long as I don't turn my heavy bag stand over. But you get the idea. Just walk into them, move them. Right? Pull them off balance. And that is the preliminary to clinch fighting, and something you can